Here we go.
Hello guys, I'm Comic Book Movie Film Productions, and welcome back to the DC Film Retrospective. Today's film is, well, it's Catwoman starring Halle Berry. This film was in development for years ever since Batman Returns came out. Tim Burton and Michelle Pfeiffer were planning on making a standalone film based on the anti-hero herself, but due to resistance against Michelle Pfeiffer not wanting to come back as Catwoman, and Burton doing other projects such as Superman Lives, and how the Batman series turned a lot lighter with Batman Forever and Batman and Robin, they dropped the film and it remained in lingo for years, as Warner Bros. Was trying to find replacements such as Ashley Judd and Nicole Kidman for the character, but eventually settled on Halle Berry. The main reason was she was hot off winning an Oscar a couple years prior at the time, along with her already having comic book movie experience with playing Storm in the first two X-Men films, where she complained about being put in the back burner of those films and liked the idea of being the lead in a superhero film. The film had a trouble production with up to 28 writers writing the script, and a director, Pitoff,
Try me, Beyonce.
that had some experience with not with good films. And was rushed due to Warner Bros. Wanting a big superhero release for the summer of 2004, because in between the 7 years between Steel and this film, Marvel came in swinging with films such as Blade 1 and 2, X-Men 1 and 2, Spider-Man 1 and 2, and more reviving the comic book genre back from the dead. Plus, there was a scheduled Batman vs Superman film planned for the summer of 2004 that was scrapped, so this film took its place. The film was made and released in the theaters in July 2004, where it was a massive financial failure, and was universally panned by critics and audiences alike, even to the point where the film won multiple Razzies, including Halle Berry herself getting one. And it's still considered to be one of the worst comic book films and films in general ever made. But what do I think about it? Well, before we get into that, let's get into the plot. The film revolves around Patience Phillips played by Halle Berry. She works as an advertising designer for a beauty company Hedare. She is shy and gets pushed around a lot, mainly from her boss George Hedare played by Lambert Wilson, who after seeing her designs doesn't like them and wants to throw them away, but his wife Laura Hedare played by Sharon Stone convinces him to give her time to redo them. He lets her redesign them, but gives her a deadline of midnight tomorrow. Back at her apartment when she is redesigning her advert, she sees a cat on the ledge of her complex and tries to bring it down, but is about to slip and fall off the side of the building. Tom Lone, a detective played by Benjamin Bratt, thinks that Patience is a jumper, but he realizes she was trying to save the cat and he saves her from falling. She goes to work, but she drops her wallet along the way, so Tom picks it up and gives it to her at work, where they start to kindle a romance. At night, she goes to Hedare's factory to drop off her work as the execs are discussing how the new beauty product will cause disastrous side effects, even more so than the previous products. Patience sneaks in and the execs see her as a threat, so they try to kill her. She is running through the sewer beneath the factory as she is getting shot at as they turn on the water and flush her into the sea. She is saved by a bunch of cats, who walk around her corpse, as the cat that Patience was trying to save earlier breathes into her mouth, resurrecting her somehow, as she starts to act differently than before, constantly switching from being the nice Patience, but also becoming more sassy and hard-hitting than before, getting fired from her job when she talks about to George, destroying her neighbor's speakers when they won't turn down the music for her, and also stopping some criminals from stealing diamonds, which she then also steals. I also forgot to mention she also acts like a cat now, sniffing catnip, hissing at dogs, eating tuna, sleeping in high places, etc. Tom tries to find out who's doing this as him and Patience start dating, but Patience at night is trying to find out about Hedare's new product. Since her friend Sally played by Alex Borstein is hospitalized from the products giving her headaches and other bad side effects, Patience decides to wear a mask after she visits a researcher cat lady, Orphea Powers played by Frances Conroy, explaining that cats are ancient beings and that she was reborn with new abilities, and that this has been going on for centuries, and another convoluted backstory basically explain why she's Catwoman now. She starts to solve the case, but then starts getting feared from murders connecting her to the case, such as a scientist in George, who's killed by Laurel, frustrated that she is being replaced as the head of the company due to her age. She has been using the product so much that her skin is now as strong and durable as marble for some reason, and blames the murders on Catwoman. After Tom connects her and Patience are the same person, after some really convoluted steps such as getting a handwriting specialist, when he sees that they have the same exact handwriting, but also brings in DNA experts to match a glass that has Patience's lip marks on it, connecting the two. She's brought in but quickly escapes and goes to stop Laurel, as Tom believes Patience after Laurel confesses to the murders, as she tries to kill him. Patience and Laurel have a final battle where it ends with Laurel's skin tearing away, and falling to her death as her products are cancelled and the day is saved. The movie ends with Patience walking away from her old life and the people in it, despite she will always care for them, she says, as she continues to be Catwoman and free of any restrictions as critical. Where do I even start with this one? I know it seems redundant after reviewing the past 2 DC films, but man, this is absolutely failed on every level imaginable. I mean, come on, who the hell came up with this script? These ideas, these characters, this plot? It doesn't even feel like a real movie. It's so bonkers and incompetent that I can't even fathom how execs of Warner Bros. Watched this and thought this was suitable for a theatrical release. First off, this film has some of, if not the worst moments in any comic book film ever, mainly from Halle Berry embarrassing herself as this character, Patience, which already sounds goofy, but making her act like a cat, literally? This is what an elementary schooler would come up with if they never heard of Catwoman before. It's like making Spider-Man grow 8 arms and eating flies. It's complete nonsense along with the rest of the plot, which for a film that's meant to be about female empowerment and independence, is all about beauty products, crappy romance, which I'll get into in a bit, and making Halle Berry wear a skin-tight leather BDSM ripped catsuit, which is one of the worst superhero costumes I've ever seen. It doesn't really help. One of the biggest issues I have with the film is how overprocessed the film looks. The film looks awful, even for the time. With so much CGI and gloss that was put over the film, it doesn't even feel like you're seeing real people on screen. It's like one of those motion capture films. This came out the same year as the Polar Express, and the humans in that looked more realistic than the actors in this film. The soundtrack is way too distracting, basically having an outdated early 2000s song play in every scene, and after a while it got way too annoying. Despite the film being an hour and 45 minutes, it seemed way longer due to how much the film forces random scenes to pad out the runtime, such as the carnival scene, the basketball scene, which may actually be the best scene in the film, or all the random exposition that made no sense, does not fit in with the rest of the film, and is convoluted. It's them just doing what they did in Batman Returns. The CGI in this film is laughably bad, from the cast to Catwoman being a ragdoll basically, bouncing off the screen during the action scenes, which are also terrible due to how poorly edited and choreographed they are, especially the editing, which the choppy editing runs throughout the whole film and is so annoying that I focus on how many cuts there were in a scene more than focusing on the story, which wasn't investing whatsoever. None of the characters were likable or even developed that well, because we don't learn anything about them and just pop in and out for no reason for long periods of time. The romance is another big flaw with this film, with how there is no chemistry between Halle Berry and Benjamin Bratt, and how bad the dialogue is, which the whole script is like that. Not a single line in this film doesn't make me cringe. The acting is also bad, which the actors, I'll give them credit, tried their hardest, and this film is not on them, apart from them agreeing to be in it. It was good actors on such a bad film. It's structured so badly with so much said and then forcing his rom-com basically into a crappy superhero film, and doesn't have any sense of stakes. I just hated watching this film again. This film was so bad that the first time I watched it, I turned it off halfway through, and I don't do that with movies regularly, so that says something. It's just pure, unfiltered garbage straight from the litter box. Overall, Catwoman is an interesting film. It shows that it doesn't matter how much money you throw at a film because this costs $100 million to make. It doesn't matter how many good actors you get. It doesn't matter how big of a studio distributes it. It doesn't matter how many writers you hire to rewrite a script. It doesn't matter how many pop songs you throw in. It doesn't matter how big of a character you put in the center. You can't polish a turd. This film is horrendous. Every word in the dictionary relating to awful or terrible relates to this film. I don't know how so many people came together and made a dumpster fire on the scale of this film. I don't even enjoy this film as a guilty pleasure, because the film bored me when it wasn't doing something completely insane. I understand if somebody does see this as a guilty pleasure, but I don't. This film is an embarrassment to everyone involved in comic book films in general. I don't need to explain myself further with this film. All I'll say is that this is not only the worst film I've seen in this retrospective, but one of the worst films I've ever seen, and I'm gonna say it, the worst comic book film of all time. I give Catwoman an F, a 0 out of 10, and a skip a recommendation. So that's Catwoman. What do you guys think about it? Leave your thoughts in the comments and please make sure to like and subscribe for more content. I'm Combo Movie Productions, and this isn't the last DC film to review because justice needs to be served.